just share why you decided to start Spark Project? And what is it today? Just for those who don't know.
Okay. Wow, mahaba-habang kwento yan. Sige,
Sure.
try ko
Big
lang
time
abridged
tayo.
version. Um, so why I started Spark Project? Well, wait, even before I would say, well, in college, my undergrad was in information systems. So I had a background in IT already. And also, so I had that fascination or like, I'm interested in tech. And I remember even until now, I love surfing the web, checking out new stuff, diba? Um, and around 2009, so 2009, I stumbled upon a website called Kickstarter.com. During that time, they just launched like a few, very fresh, like a few weeks into launching the website. And because I like, surfing the web and looking for new things, I would usually bookmark, the websites that I like. And when I saw Kickstarter, the concept of crowdfunding was super new and I totally dig it. I mean, like I really liked how what they were planning to do with the website and the technology. So that it stuck in my head, and and a few months or a year later, I decided to pursue further studies abroad, to explore uh, the the tech side, the web side of tech. Because prior to that, I was an IT consultant. So when you're an IT consultant, you work with corporations and work on their systems. It's not really nothing related to web,
Yeah.
the .com stuff. And that was something that has always been brewing in my head. Like, what is it like the .com side of tech. So I took that opportunity to study and kind of like explore the other facets of IT. And then when I had a scholarship, I was blessed enough to get a scholarship to study abroad. And when I was there, of course, it was such a learning experience and even a life learning experience for me. Got exposed to a lot of things, was able to live independently as well. One of the key things that my experience has led me to there was really being able it opened my eyes to some realities that I wasn't so familiar with or we just read, like especially the realities of our kababayans abroad, the OFWs. When I was abroad, I was able to meet and I saw how they had to leave the country,
Mm.
sometimes really not out of their choice but out of circumstances. It really
Oh.
bothered me, knowing that I was there out of a scholarship. It was, out of, right now they call it out of privilege. And it was a reality check, diba? Na parang you are in a privileged position, but not everybody is. And being able to meet and interact with our fellow kababayans, I learned more about their current situation. And
Nice.
yeah, it touched me and disturbed me. I think that's the word. Na parang how can I be able to kind of like change that narrative for Filipinos,
Mm.
that they don't have to pursue opportunities outside the country, being away from their families, only to give them, better lives. And yeah, how can I change that? I know that I couldn't change it overnight, but I know that I can do something about it. So during that time, I was still abroad, contemplating whether or not I should go back to the Philippines. Or, di ba, usually when you go abroad na, you stay there already, di ba?
Yes.
So, yun yung mga crossroads, and one of the things na yun na napagdesisyonan ko was I feel like I had that strong sense of being able to go home because it is back in the Philippines where I can do something, and I consider myself a creator. Like I like creating stuff. I
Yeah.
guess in medyo entrepreneurial na yung ano ko without me really knowing it.
Yeah.
So I said, like, if I can do something to change this reality, it would be back home because it's back in the Philippines where I have the resources and even maybe the network to even make things happen. So when I
Wow.
got back, had no idea I was gonna start Spark Project. I was just really trying to reintegrate myself back into the community. I mean, like the people that I mean, like back in the Philippines, and then I kind of like not one shop, but I was invited to a few meetups, the startup meetups that were also emerging. So during that time, around 2010, 11, the startup scene here in the Philippines is starting to grow, emerging siya. And I went to a couple of meetups there, met entrepreneurs, as in first time
Nice.
to meet entrepreneurs interested with what they're doing. But also at the same time, I started also attending meetups for social enterprises. So
Mm.
a friend of mine from college introduced me to a group like, oh, why don't you join? Why don't you just go here? Since you're in the exploration, finding yourself mode. And then that was my first alam mo, intro to what social entrepreneurship was all about. And that's when, parang questions, of course, like, parang, okay, I've been going through all these events and being inspired by the people that I've met. And now, the question goes back to me, so ikaw, ano yung sa start mo, di ba? I remember specifically, like, there was this friend of mine, because he's been seeing me attending all these events. So parang
Mm.
medyo naging regular ako. And then one time, after the event, he goes to me, he's like, oh, ano ng social enterprise or ano ng startup yung isa-start mo? So parang napatanong nga ako sa sarili ko, attend ako ng attend, ano nagagawin ko? So napaisip ako, naisip ako, like, okay, if I were to do something, then it has to be able to play with my strengths, like, or at least the background that I like
Yeah. Yeah.
my expertise. So that's in IT. And then my passion or my interest in not just applying what I know, which is IT, but using it as a force for good. So yun, when I was trying to figure out what things are available to me, I thought about Kickstarter again. So again, or a flashback to 2009, like, oh nga no, parang all these entrepreneurs that I've met, they have great ideas, but some of them, or most of them, they struggle with financing their projects. Like,
Mm.
I have a cool idea, but I have no funds to get it started. And then I remembered Kickstarter. I remembered crowdfunding. The parang, oh nga no, there's no crowdfunding website here in the
Yeah.
Philippines that time yet. So parang ko, maybe it's time to introduce or see if
Galing.
crowdfunding could work here in the Philippines. So that's when I started uh, working on putting up a crowdfunding platform, which is the Spark project. And then fast forward to a year of like incubating that whole idea, we launched it. And just a quick trivia, this month, February, is our 8th year anniversary month. So Feb 16,
Congratulations.
actually yesterday. So if you're, today's February 17, yesterday, Feb 16, 2013 was the day that we officially launched the website.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a
So
nice
proud
eight
of you.
year 8-year anniversary for us. I was talking with my co-founders na because we're not really big on celebrations, but I just like, hey guys, alam mo ba 8 years na tayo? So, oh my gosh, 8 years na tayo. Galing.
Mas matagal pa yung Spark project than most relationships.
Oo nga.
Wow, wow. And how has the ride been for the last 8 years?
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah, of course, there are challenges. Any entrepreneur would experience that, but it's really worth it. We always say then, when we say with crowdfunding is not a walk in the park, but it's very rewarding. I guess that's how I would say our journey is. My personal journey is also as an entrepreneur and building Spark project. Challenges are there. I mean, it wasn't easy. I had to learn stuff on my own because I didn't grow up naman in an entrepreneurial family.
The JPaul Hernandez Podcast. Listen to the full episode on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and all major podcast platforms.